Okay, and we're at 7 o'clock. Tracy, are you doing minutes for this one as well? Okay, you let me know when you're ready then. You good? Okay. Then we will call this business meeting of the Kalamazoo Township Board of Trustees to order at 7 o'clock exactly. Trustee Robinson, care to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And we will proceed to a roll call of board members. Trustee Robinson?
Here.
Trustee Leonard?
Here.
Trustee Sherwood? Here. Trustee Glass?
Here.
I'm Supervisor Combs, and I will move to excuse Clerk Mackey and Treasurer Miller this evening.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. And the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Are there any additions or deletions to or from the agenda this evening? Seeing none. We will proceed to our first public comment period this evening. Again, if you'd like to make a public comment, folks in the room know the drill. Step to the podium, please. You'll have 3 minutes to use as you choose. Seeing no movement in the room. Superintendent, is there any public comment on Zoom? Okay, thank you very much. With that, we will proceed to the consent agenda. In the absence of the clerk, a motion would be acceptable by any member of the board.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent and supervisor.
Support.
There's a motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Very efficient meeting this evening. We do have one public hearing or presentation. In this case, a first presentation for the board, the FOIA appeal receipt for which there will be a board hearing at our March 23rd meeting. Superintendent, I believe you were prepared to speak about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So we received a FOIA request from Attorney Brad Seisel on behalf of Sherine Miller. And with that request, there was a very lengthy request of items for us to produce via this FOIA. And for us, when we do a FOIA, we think there will be staff time, paper time, if it's going to be extensive. We need to provide an estimate to the requester, to which we did. We gave a dollar amount for IT time, clerk time, superintendent time, clerical time, those types of things. We sent that to Mr. Seisel, and he sent us a request, which is in our appeal policy, to have a board hearing to review the estimated amount that we provided. So I will now bring this to the board. Our time starts today. We now have basically 2 weeks to respond to the appeal. So during these 2 weeks, I will again review the times to see if there are any places that we can massage it, reduce it, what that looks like, bring a recommendation to the board along with the FOIA coordinator. We make that recommendation and then the board decides if they want to accept the recommendation, if they want additional information to provide, if they want to waive fees or somewhere in there. So at the next meeting, I will have a recommendation for all of you as far as where I started, where we think we could bring those hours potentially down, the pros and cons of doing that. But when we provide the estimate, they have to pay 50% upfront. So that's typically what happens. They pay 50% of that cost. Then we do the work, and then we track it as we do it, and we come up with the real amount. Anything over that amount, they have to pay in addition to the 50%. And if it was less, we would reimburse. We've not had such an extensive FOIA here before, so we did the best we could on the estimate. I will again look through it and see if maybe we can look at all those times again and ensure that we're providing a fair and equitable amount of time involved. So I will look at that over the next 2 weeks. We will have a formal hearing. I believe Roxanne will lead us through that hearing. grant something on the appeal or don't. So just kind of the background of that, but we're formally accepting that tonight. As far as it's before you, you've heard that there's this appeal, and we have until our next board meeting to make that decision.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
At this time, can you remind us what, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please.
At this time,
Please.
can you remind us what the cost is?
It was approximately $8,000.
Okay.
The amount that we would go through. That included 2 IT people, time with the superintendent to review those, time for the clerk to redact, time for clerical to copy and send.
And can you just like give like a brief, like what was in there that she's requesting that's taking so much?
So they first are pushing back that the hours, for one, they don't believe it will be those amount of hours. Number 2, they don't believe that I should include my time. And I'm not going to argue for or against, because I can do that at the formal hearing. They're arguing that none of my time should be included and the clerk's time should not be included.
And how many items approximately were in that FOIA? Is that amount?
There are 45 bullets
Okay.
of requests. And like I said, and those requests include all the board's communication, all our communication, all staff's communication. It's very extensive, the list.
Okay.
So we did our best, and like I said, if it is a lot more, then either way, they pay or we pay back. But I do believe it's.
And her appeal is to just, I mean, it's not requesting a specific amount less, it's just asking to reconsider.
It's asking to appear before the board for a formal.
Okay.
And I assume this attorney must have experience with FOIA requests to,
I will say that the item that came really looked like a lawsuit, and it looked like when you get those big lists of questions, and you produce all these documents that look like, and it's very overwhelming when you see it. It really didn't look like that. He does indicate that he's familiar with municipal law and knows how it works. It just seemed kind of a lot. That for me, over 30 years, was the biggest FOIA request I've ever seen.
Which is funny because we had so much going on in the last few years.
Yeah.
You would think we would have already dealt with the biggest FOIA request we've
Yeah.
ever seen.
yeah. I would just hate if this was a waste of resources and time.
I understand, and it's one of the things about FOIA that's really frustrating that the legislature has never really been able to get a handle on, which is how do you balance the cost to the township, which is a lot, along with, what you can charge, which is not a lot, okay, so, you can only charge 6 times, the rate of, 6 times the amount of the current minimum wage for attorney redactions, and I suspect that there may be a good amount of those, so we would have to kind of estimate the amount of time for that. There's certainly a lot of attorney-client privilege stuff in there that they had asked for, so we're gonna have to, either Marshall or myself is gonna have to go through that, and, we haven't worked for, $82 an hour for a long time, so you guys have to figure out the rest, and that's just kind of a frustrating thing, is how do you, if somebody wants a record that's easy to get, and fine, no problem, here's your money, but the hardest part is right now that we have to upfront guess what we're gonna find and how much time it's gonna take,
Yeah.
and send it back, and, we got this request about, well, maybe you charge too much, so we'll go back and sharpen our pencil if we can, and do what we can do.
Okay.
Is the FOIA request public?
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's public document.
the community can see that too, okay.
And you will all receive copies at the next hearing, along with the estimate that was provided, and then the estimate if there is any changes to the recommendation of that as well.
Thank you.
And I just have one.
Please.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, unless. No. And then, is this an accurate, when we say estimate, that it's cost the taxpayers about $38,400 so far in legal fees for this situation. Does that sound about?
With the investigation for sure.
This is from November, December, January, February, March for the treasurer's
Yes.
pursuit.
Yes, going
Okay.
through those legal bills. That and more, yeah.
And then on top of that, a request now to have staff go through and do all this for.
Trustee Leonard, did you have
No,
something?
I'm okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions or discussion? So we will have the opportunity to discuss and then, as a board, make a decision at the next meeting. That said, I do have one motion to make on this matter tonight before we move forward. And this is related to a conflict of interest, as the superintendent noted. This request that we are discussing and will consider was submitted on behalf of the treasurer. And therefore, the treasurer or the treasurer's legal counsel would be before us for consideration at the next meeting. And just to pull directly from our board policies, I'll quote, "A township board member shall vote upon all matters that require a vote of the township board unless the board member has a conflict of interest regarding a matter on which the township board is required to vote, in which case the board member will disclose that interest and the township board shall vote on whether to allow the board member to abstain." In this case, of course, we have voted to excuse the treasurer this evening as she is not here. However, in her absentia, as stated by the superintendent, this being submitted on behalf of the treasurer, I believe the potential conflict of interest is clear and evident, as we will be considering whether to provide a financial break, essentially, for the treasurer personally, in which case I will make the motion to comply with the policy that we shall vote. I will move that we recuse the treasurer from this matter and the decision next week.
Support?
There's a motion and support. I will begin discussion just by reminding us all and sharing with the public the last portion of that policy, that this is a unanimous vote that's required in order for the motion to pass. So anything less than a unanimous vote, this motion would not pass. Is there any other discussion on the matter? Seeing none. Because this needs to be a unanimous vote, for the sake of good order, we'll go ahead and do a roll call. Trustee Glass?
Aye.
Trustee Sherwood?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
And Trustee Leonard?
Aye.
Thank you, the motion carries. And just to close the loop on that, the policy ends, if so voted, as we have voted, the township board members shall recuse themselves and refrain from participation in all deliberations, discussions, and voting on the matter. That will apply at our hearing next meeting as well. Thank you very much. We've concluded the presentation portion of the meeting. There is no old business, just one item of new business, the motion to adopt the amended ordinance 645 that we have discussed at, I think, several previous meetings and work sessions. Attorney Sieber, did you have anything to say about this one?
I thought maybe what you would tell me because we sent it. So this was just a culmination of your request to consider how best to allow more housing in some of these smaller places. Generally, they have water and sewer available. Many of them are platted lots, and many of them are small by today's standards. A lot of people own one, have their house on one, and then the one next door is vacant for whatever reason. Our zoning ordinance always made them crush those two together so that you only had one zoning lot. The goal of this ordinance is to remove what that is. It's called the murder clause, so that we open up the second lot that's vacant, make that available for housing. We provide something called a qualifying parcel. It has to be a certain size, of which there are only and have water and sewer available, or water or sewer available. And there were some other, special, so then they get some special setbacks and things like that, so that they can actually put a fairly large house on what is considered today a very small lot. But the goal is to increase the amount of housing that's available in the township.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A motion would be in order, if this board saw fit.
I can make a motion to adopt ordinance number 645, amending the zoning ordinance's non-conforming use provisions eliminating the merger clause and expanding the ability to construct single-family residences on small lots and parcels in R1 and R2 districts for first reading, scheduled for potential adoption on February 23rd. Is that old?
Yeah, we're just
Accepted,
adopting.
okay.
Yeah.
Support.
So moved and supported. Is there any other discussion on the matter? Do you have something? Roll call, yes. Seeing no discussion, we will proceed to a roll call. Trustee Leonard?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Trustee Sherwood?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Glass?
Aye.
And the motion carries. Thank you very much.
I might indicate to you that this is going to be published on Thursday, I hope.
Okay.
Meaning that it's effective 7 days after, so your properties are freed up, presumably by the end of this month for sure, but hopefully within about a week and a half.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Moving forward, no items were removed from the consent agenda this evening, so we will proceed to board member reports. Trustee Leonard?
I do not have a report tonight.
Fair enough. Trustee Glass?
I do. The only thing I'll say is that I think we have a lot of exciting things going on in the township, and I know that we have some, a little bit of dark cloud going on right now. I think it is the lingering remnants of some things that maybe should have been settled before, but we had more pressing problems at the time, and now we're seeing this come to fruition. I hope that, everyone knows that I think the people here on the board and in the staff are working super hard to do some really cool stuff. And I just don't want us to lose sight of those things just because one person or, there's one negative thing going on. So there's a lot that we can be negative about in the world right now. There's a lot to be upset about. But there are some really cool things happening. We have the new Township campus community coming. We have the new fire station finally coming. We have staff morale that I definitely did not see when I first started here. I mean, it has improved leaps and bounds, and I feel the functioning of the township in this building and outside as far as what we do has just greatly improved, and I hope that you all see that too. And I want you to know that we are doing everything we can to keep an eye on all these things and make sure we keep moving forward. I think we're doing a good job, and so don't get discouraged. Keep on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Trustee Robinson?
I gotta pull up what I had real quick.
You want me to come back to you?
Yes, please, that's even better.
Trustee Sherwood? Here to go next.
Yeah, so last Thursday I had the opportunity to take part in the Cultivating Connections. It was the annual board election meeting for the Kalamazoo Conservation District. It was their 80th year celebration, so a very long institution in this area. And I attended with Trustee Glass, and it was nice to hear about what's going on in our area from a conservation perspective. It was nice to interact with people that are very much from kind of my background. It was a great opportunity, and it got me excited again about, we do have a lot of gems here in the township, natural gems, and there's several opportunities that may be available to our residents that we're going to look into that came out of that meeting. There's a lot of good in this township. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bright spots. As Trustee Glass said, there's a little bit of a storm cloud, but storm clouds pass. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be part of this. A lot more excited than I was before I ran. I really didn't have a strong opinion about the township, but I would say I'm a firm cheerleader at this point. So thank you for attending, and yeah, we're doing good things here.
Thank you very much. Trustee Robinson, you ready?
All right, yeah,
All right.
I got it now.
Okay.
So, I do want to say that we have worked very hard, everybody here, staff at the township, throughout tax season, and just through these last few months. So major kudos to the front staff. They have went above and beyond, for sure. And so they deserve all the praise for the work that they have done. And so if I have a moment to thank them, I'm going to take it and use that to say thank you. So thank you to them. I know that one of the major questions that keeps coming through right now is the curbside pickup. It's not in March, folks, so don't put your stuff out right now. I don't want people to get got by our ordinance officer, okay? So, curbside pickup for the Township of Kalamazoo is April 6th through April 10th. So put that on your calendars, April 6th through April 10th. That is our date. If you received your lovely newsletter, it is in there. It is also on our website. It is there. I will get it posted on Facebook here pretty soon. I try and wait until a little bit closer to the date, but I just wanted to say it at the meeting because I know that has been a call that keeps coming and keeps coming. That has been a lot of emails. April 6th through April 10th, that is our curbside pickup. So put that out in your neighborhood associations and let it be known. It is not March, so let's not take those hits, folks. So that is all I have.
Thank you very much. I have just a few things. First, I want to echo what Trustee Glass said. I'm excited also to see all that's happening in the township. While the conversations that we have in these meetings about, expanding staff and how we're going to pay for things like speed bumps or if we're going to move forward with certain projects are sometimes the hard ones because they're the costs. It's because there are exciting things happening and this township is growing. I drive home every day down Willow Road and I'm so excited to see the walls going up at Eastwood Fire. That's one of the first big tangible signs of progress we're seeing over on my end of the township. I also want to say thank you to you, the mainstays, I think I heard one of you say earlier, truly, because it is obviously ideal if we can pack this room every week, and that's never going to happen. But when I see each of you in the room, whether you're letting us know about developers and what they might do with property, or what folks are complaining about in one of the neighborhoods, that's such important information. And you all, you're not just the people that show up here, you're the people who are the most knowledgeable in our township and trusted. Looking at you, Ron, that people trust and go to with their issues and complaints. And it's so helpful that you come and share that information, and it's not going into a black hole, truly. I just watched, Trustee Robinson and our superintendent take up that email piece in between these two meetings to start to figure out where they're going and what we can do. That's information that's so important for us to have. So thank you, truly, for continuing to be here and be part of this and to participate. Finally, the less fun part, I do feel I owe this board and the public an update. Because we have had some things happen over our past several meetings. So I will share this update. Some of it is a bit repetitive, but for the sake of the public record, in case anyone watches, some of this is new information. The board, as you know, this board directed me as supervisor to submit a petition to remove the township treasurer to the governor's office at our last meeting. After that meeting, I did submit the petition, and I have not yet heard officially of any developments, but I will advise the board, of course, in a public meeting, if I receive any developments or word of any developments on that front. Another quick update: as of today, our treasurer has not appointed a deputy treasurer, the office of the deputy treasurer being vacant, which remains in violation of state statute. Under Michigan law and our township's policy, the supervisor has responsibility to ensure that appropriate bond coverage is in place to protect the township. Based on the recent events of which we're all aware, we are assessing whether the current bond limits remain sufficient relative to the scope and exposure of the treasurer's duties and reported conduct. Our insurance carrier has advised that a standard written application is required when evaluating bond limits for elected officials above $150,000. I provided this application and the blank form to the treasurer on March 2nd, last week. She communicated to me her intent to complete that form on March 5th. On March 9th, which was earlier today, I again requested that completed form in order to complete the insurance review and to have that application returned to me. I subsequently learned today that the treasurer instead chose to have her personal attorney, who is not party to any township proceeding, approach the township's attorneys about this matter, without including me. I provided the treasurer with a deadline of noon tomorrow to return that application, and if I have not received the application by that time, I will proceed under the circumstance that the treasurer is refusing to comply with our bonding process. And I will seek counsel from our superintendent and legal counsels on that matter, should we reach that unfortunate situation. As I stated a moment ago, Sherine Miller's personal attorney, to be clear, is not party to any township proceeding, nor is he related to any legal proceeding that involves the township. As such, he is entitled to the same level of access to township resources as any member of the public, no more and no less. Yet, this attorney has continued to solicit communication directly from township attorneys, which cost township taxpayers money. I've communicated to township attorneys and the superintendent that I do not believe this is an appropriate continued cost to the taxpayers, and that they should not continue to indulge this attorney or Ms. Miller's efforts to cost additional taxpayer funds superfluously. Should I learn that this is a continuing issue, I may bring a proposed action to the board at a future meeting, so you're aware, to put a stop to this drain of taxpayer funds. I also want to let the board know I received a letter from the Herbert Mocknick law firm, which seems to be the law firm that Treasurer Miller has engaged in a personal capacity with a subject line demand for indemnification. This is a demand that the township, using taxpayer funds, pay the law firm her personal legal expenses that she has incurred to date in order to have the retained counsel at Herbert Mocknick Law Firm. This letter, I have not brought this forward in a agenda item capacity, frankly, because it uses a twisted misinterpretation of our board policy to demand payment of taxpayer funds, and I do not intend to ask the board to consider or approve that. I do feel it is in the best interest of the township and its taxpayers to share that the township has invested heavily in the treasurer's success and in protecting the township from risks incurred by the treasurer. Despite our previous refusal to acquiesce to Ms. Miller's demand for a $147,000 cash payment of taxpayer funds, in addition to fringe benefits, in addition to the demand for payment of her personal attorneys, the township has invested in job coaching for the treasurer, which she failed to fully attend, financial and accounting expertise to support the treasurer, which she chose not to implement and in some cases to ignore, and an objective third-party investigation into complaints about her conduct, which she refused to participate in. Thus far, expenses like these incurred directly due to the treasurer's conduct have cost township taxpayers in excess of $120,000. That amount continues to grow, in addition to the salary that the treasurer continues to collect. And finally, I did receive word earlier today that the treasurer no longer intends to attend or participate in board meetings. And that's all I have. Superintendent, your report.
Thank you. I will switch to a positive note. We have hired 2 new staff persons. We will now have a full-time planner, zoning administrator and planner. So that will help us expedite our economic development goals that we talked about at our retreat. They will start at the end of March. And we've also hired an HR manager who will start tomorrow. So we have some pretty exciting times coming up, some positives to focus on, and we will move forward with it. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and thank you for the good news. And with that, we will proceed to the second public comment period this evening. As usual, if you'd like to make a public comment, feel free to step to the podium. 3 minutes as always. Seeing no movement in the room.
May I do a public comment? Okay.
Absolutely, feel free.
Thank you. Check it out
No, there's somebody on Zoom.
We're still on in person though.
Good?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ashley Glass. I live at 1424 Bronx Avenue on the east side. And I feel that it is important to say today that I think that the treasurer needs to resign. I would like to publicly ask her to do the right thing. At this point, she's cost the township taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars and continues to pursue you know, it just an unjust actions against the township for, I'm not really sure. I'm baffled every time that we get to this point. And so as a resident, I would like to ask her to please listen to what's been said. At this point, a third-party investigation paid for by the township taxpayers has found the treasurer lacks the skills necessary to perform her statutory duties, poses direct financial hazard to the community, has used the statements of willful neglect, incompetent, and at this point, I think the board, it seems to me, has done as much as they possibly can to get her to step down. And so I would say I will pursue the action of doing a recall at this point if she is unwilling to step down herself. But I would ask her to save us all a little bit of trouble and save herself some discomfort. And it's not a personal attack, it's a civic one. I think the treasurer's office is very important. She manages millions of dollars, and she needs to recognize now that she's unable to perform these abilities. No one's willing to work with her at this point. She's pursued financial gains at the expense of taxpayers many times, not even just this term. And I think it's time for her to step aside and let someone else who can do the job come in. Because we have, as I can see, as a resident, too many good things to focus on, and I'm frankly tired of spending the energy focusing on this and the money.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment in the room? Seeing none. Superintendent, is there any public comment on Zoom? Okay.
Yep, this is Sherine Miller, Treasurer of Kalamazoo Township. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I don't know where Supervisor Collins was told that I would not be attending meetings. I will be attending meetings. I am still in position and I still take my job very seriously. And what I'd like to say to the entire board is the truth will prevail. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other public comment on Zoom? Thank you very much. That concludes our public comment. There is no, say again? There's no closed session this evening, so we will proceed to adjournment at 7:32. Thank you all. We're adjourned. Efficient meeting. Sorry, Roxanne, did I miss something? Oh, okay.
Okay.